Welcome to Action Energy Market Global podcast. My name is Tarja Teppo. I'm the founder of Action Energy Finance. In this video podcast, we interview people that work with clean transition. We highlight solutions and stories behind them and explore project financing options utilized. All right. And today we got to the podcast studio Jon Liljelund. Sorry, I'm sort of saying your last name wrong. And with the title Director Solutions at Vaisala XWeather. So that's actually a lot of, that's a lot of words in itself. So why don't we start with the man himself? So Jon, so what's your, how did you come to energy, sustainability, weather, air management, all that sort of a thing? What brings you here where you are today?
First of all, a big thank you for inviting me to join you and have this discussion. So it's an honor to be here today with you, Tarja. That's a big question. How much we have time? So
well, it's I know we could sort of spend on this for like a couple of hours, but somewhat sort of sort of a quick run up, sort of the elevator pitch version.
Maybe it's I've been always in a way passionate about and having a great interest towards physics as well as nature, and I think it's probably because I've been lucky in a way. I had chance to spend a lot of time when I was let's say younger at outdoor in different environments, sailing in the archipelago. We have beautiful archipelago in Finland, so really doing all that type of stuff, swimming, being in the water. That got me interested about, for example, scuba diving, which has took me to the other sides of the world. Also doing skiing, not only downhill as well as cross-country skiing, and being lucky to do it in different environments, not only in the Lapland in Finland, but enjoying doing it in the Alps. So really being interested about the nature. And that got me also interested then about, for example, wind energy already at the early phase of the industry, which was just about to start emerging. So I think it's really been just coming from there, being in a way interested about physics and technology, new technology, and the nature.
All right. So would you say that the current job, growing the XWeather, so is that bringing sort of the different interests? Because because I remember, because we know some time back, because you were even working with the wave energy back in the days. So that's sort of the water elements. But so if you look at sort of what you are doing at XWeather, is that bringing all the different interests sort of to one plate, or?
Yeah, I could say it's kind of, if I would really think it like 360, I could say that this easily covers at least 270 degrees of really things that I'm passionate about. So you're very much correct. So I've been working also with a disruptive new renewable energy technology such as wave energy, and I'm happy to talk a bit more about that also a bit later. But in a way, actually, how I got involved about the wave energy was, again, my passion towards being at water, not only doing scuba diving, but actually even doing a underwater diving works. And then that combined together, that I was already at the early days working in the wind energy sector, doing a site prospecting and working to get the first, in a way, projects in place, which then became a some of the first ones. So, and that did pull me into this kind of developing a new technology, which is kind of, one could consider a one of the kind of, let's say, battery storage is utilizing a renewable energy, which is again one of the critical things for us to sort out in this future energy mix, so to say. But in a way, it's already some time ago. Then I'm a son of entrepreneur, so been always really passionate about, in a way, running the business, not only sales, not only doing the technology, but really also passionate about how to lead people and how we can together maybe in a way scale us as human beings, not only scaling the technology, but us as a team and working
No.
together. And I think I really learned really great things working at the factory, cleaning the floors there. But I think I learned from my father a lot on that it's really about the team effort and how important it is that the people are motivated and they are empowered to do the things that they really enjoy doing. So that really scales.
Well, now with the XWeather, now we've mentioned the word XWeather a few times, so I think it's sort of time to explain what is actually the XWeather product. What is it? What you guys are building over there?
Yeah, that's another a big question. But if I in a way take few steps still back in time, so I joined Vaisala about 5 years ago, and we have in Vaisala we have two business areas. We have the weather and environment, and then we have the kind of the WIM, which is really called it's kind of industrial measurement. So one can on layman's word think that the weather and environment we are observing what happens in the outside world, in the environment, but it's also really not controlled environment. Whereas with the industrial measurements, we are kind of observing and helping our customers to maintain the environment at optimal to really kind of ensure that the production is also optimal.
Right.
Whatever you are manufacturing. So they are in a way kind of, one may say, different worlds, but still a lot of synergies when it comes to the technology. And I joined the company when the business area was just weather, and it was actually about to expand to environment. So today we are called as a weather and environment. And we've been really in the weather and environment a dominant market leader when it comes to traditional weather equipment supply. So for example, the radio zones that we are supplying are really the key working horse of the whole weather forecasting industry. So we supply this equipment to the met agencies of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
We are supplying our equipment to 150 countries every year. So we have really truly a global reach, and it's of course not only the radio sounding equipment. Since that we've been expanding, we have 8,000 different products in the company nowadays. So we really work in several different industries. So, but at the same time, I think the top management had also, in a way, clearly seen that there is the kind of the paradigm shift which is going through all the industries is of course going to impact us as well. So decision was to start taking also a steps towards on okay how we build the future Vaisala in a way, and at the same time expanding from bit of this kind of B2G to more towards the B2B. And now I'm talking about really the weather and environment side of the business. In the industrial side, we are doing a lot of let's say business with other businesses, so to say. But that was really the driver there. And then of course not only this comes then from the paradigm shift that just supplying the hardware as capex. Yes, it's really good business, and we really have a high quality products. But at the same time, we could do much more. And now I'm not talking that we would start to generate these kind of generic weather forecasts that the met agencies are doing actually really well. And we have seen during the last 10 years a major development of the weather forecasting skill in general. But where we can really then help is actually getting those more generic weather forecasts and create those more kind of meaningful for different businesses. So not only for forecasting the weather, but maybe more importantly, really forecasting the impact of the weather, and then really going on more deeper and specific on what that impact is to different type of business operations.
So what would be an example of a client of XWeather? What's Because I mean, I looked, for a little bit of the background. I mean, the range seems to be super wide. It's from everything from agriculture to um, forestry to wind energy to all sort of things. So it's a really wide. I mean, that's the impression that I got. But if you give some examples of the clients or customers that are using our solution, so that probably gives a sort of a quick step
Yeah,
into
yeah,
understanding.
a good question. So maybe I talk a little bit about the energy. I would say, of course, what is really easy and in concrete way to maybe let's say explain is what we are doing in the renewable energy side. So we have this, I would say, the wind, and then we have also the solar energy,
You're right.
and with our technology, of course, the weather is the fuel for both of those. So it's obvious for us all. Where we can really excel and shine is to actually deliver to our customers the intelligence around that. Okay, how much with the kind of wind forecast you're actually able to generate energy from your wind farm,
Right.
or per individual wind turbine, which is then of course combined to the grid connection point.
So that's like
And
stimulating the future generation.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And then again, what makes us a bit different is that as we are supplying also this wind observation technology, so we are also measuring, or our technology is used to measure the wind. And now the trend is also in the weather forecasting towards the ML based machine learning based models. So the key thing that you need to excel there is high quality data from the
Yeah.
location where you operate. So it's one good example where we excel, and we really have truly the complete end to end from the sensor head uh, to the world class forecast model, which has been developed over the last 20 years, and then kind of customers are utilize or consuming it through an API use, mostly integrating it to their then own decision support systems. It
Right.
also helps our customers to better plan, for example, maintenance operations. And I think we all been all who've been kind of pretty close to the energy industry and the sector. We've been in a way also following how, for example, the electricity price has been developing over the few years, and now in
Yeah.
Finland, for example, where we've been getting more wind to the to the to the
To the
balance,
mix.
so
Yeah.
to say. So we have seen how maybe during the windy days, it has a major impact to the prices. And there are some like industry insights then, which basically things been turning, one may say, even upside down. So some of the clients are actually then seeking by using our technology that kind of where to bid, where you have this kind of, we are operating close to the cut-in areas like 3 meters per second, because there you actually get more money per generated megawatt hour, whereas when you have really high wind speeds,
Mm.
everybody's generating with full capacity, but there's not much that is available from the, let's say, from the price point of view. So
Yeah.
it's actually then used to optimize these maintenance slots other way around than it was still a few years ago. That's a one example of using our technology. Where we also really strong is the road weather, and
Okay.
one may also think what John is now talking. So talking about road weather, so we are also able to model and forecast what happens on the road surface. So not only the atmospheric weather, but what is happening on the road surfaces, and we operate globally. And I would say that we are really nicely positioned to bring together the ones who really maintain the roads, as well as the the, the users of the roads. So us
Yeah.
humans, and there is the mega trend is that from uh, let's say assisted driving step by step towards the autonomous driving. And yes, if you are driving in for example Las Vegas, pretty much, I would say, easy environment when it comes to weather to drive, but then getting to Scandinavia or even to Europe and other areas in the United States, weather definitely plays a role when it comes to driving and driving environment, and we can help there a lot with providing the understanding, okay, what's on the road surface and what you have ahead. And of course, again, it's a comes through a partnership. So we are, for example, using the data which is coming from the cars and then further enhancing it with our intelligence and then providing it back to the cars. So, for example, the new Volkswagen groups, our group cars are already now using our weather data and in a way weather aware. So it helps the drivers then. And
does that actually currently go to the driver level, to the consumer level? Is it already something that's utilized by the individual driver in a Volkswagen vehicle?
Of course, through the car manufacturer. So it's of course a group. So there are Audis and Porsches as well, Skoda. However, in a way, of course, you can see our logo in the infotainment, for example, but it's more like this destination weather type of thing. Where we play is that then, of course, we help, for example, the assisted driving to understand that kind of what are the safety distances required if there is a slippery or more slippery road, or risk of for example aquaplaning. So in the kind of if you have a car which is, let's say, one year old, some of those models already are actively letting you know that basically you need to now switch off the assisted driving or the mode, and you need to take over. So basically it's really, and that's the direction where it is coming or going currently. So we will see more and more that coming.
Yeah, that actually leads me to, because I mean you described in the beginning Vaisala being in the weather business, but through hardware for a long time. I don't know, 100 years maybe. Is it that long?
Almost 90.
Almost 90. Okay, I was close enough. But because I understand that this is a SaaS business, right? So how is it like if you're building or growing a SaaS software business within a sort of, you could say, sort of a hardware business, a traditional sensor business? How, the any sort of insights on sort of opportunities or obstacles on when you're building sort of a new type of approach, which is basically sort of data-driven approach within a company that traditionally has been, very strong and still is very strong in the actual sensors and hardware. Is this a easy marriage, or is it you don't need to tell any big secrets, but it's just interesting to know how what sort of because it's sort of like building a startup within a existing company. If I'm that's how I look at it, but I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I kind of you're really spot on. I would say, of course, in a way, there is the elements of change management. At the same time, of course, if companies is doing good business and successful business, I would say the difficult things are of course assessing the timings. Timings are always difficult for us humans. So and I would say in general, of course, running a business, you of course wish to be in a position that if you see that things are changing, that you can be the one who are disrupting your own business and not someone else. So that takes us more or less on the timing area. So those are, of course, the critical and for sure the most important things. So when and what, and then the how piece. Then, of course, a good example you were asking about the kind of use cases. So we also supply to energy utilities a temperature forecasts, which are much way more better than the, how to say, the generic weather forecasts. And reason for that is the kind of the microclimates that we have. For example, just in the Helsinki capital area, or only in Espoo, which is the kind of west side of the city, we have 7 different microclimates. And if you operate, for example, a district heating network, there are differences in the temperature, and especially in the temperature forecast. If it's just based on the generic weather forecast, which is using then this kind of synop and meta stations, which are not which are partially located.
Yeah.
So there we actually supply it in a way that customer can really get the best possible weather forecast, which is utilizing then our hardware, but they get everything as service. We take care of installing the sensors, maintaining it, as well as then delivering the forecast based on that. So customer is just consuming API.
Right.
So one may consider that there's actually a lot in there which needs to be really taken care, and what one needs to be able to master. And then if we consider the value chain, I think that the things that we've been in a way new for us as a company, being really more on the SaaS product side. So we already have a long history of supplying road weather stations, maintaining those. We have a partner networks, etc. So there are strong synergies, and we can really build on top of that to ensure that our customers are not only getting a high quality technology, but it's up and running and maintained properly. Right. But then when it comes to SaaS product, I think, again, I don't have any secret sauce here. I think really everything starts always from really focus, and setting a clear targets helps us there always. Just remember that. Then I think areas that there's been a lot of good changes in the past years overall in the industry has been really kind of getting a cross-functional. So that really organizing the expertise around the product. Because we are here to really ultimately to drive the success of our customers and the users of the product by using the product. So that's why the expertise needs to be really around the product to excel in that. And that also helps to really that there's no silos between marketing and sales and the product management. There are always the expertise is around the product and the product roadmap.
Yeah. And I guess that probably brings also sort of the new opportunities. I mean, to when the closer you are to the customer, so finding new areas where you could utilize your service, or is that sort of even obvious for the customers oftentimes? Like, say you just described the district heating, that as you said, they are already using forecasting, but maybe not that they could even do it more accurately, and they could drive the plants in a better way. So maybe as sort of as a concluding question, if you look at sort of the technology that you have, the sensors, the software, the data and the analysis you're able to produce, what do you think is the sort of the biggest sort of untapped opportunity in utilizing weather data, or that is currently not utilizing to the degree that they could? What comes, maybe it's like a couple of areas, but what is something where you see that, here we could really bring an extra benefit where it's not really utilized to date?
I think I continue from the district heating. So of course, really for us as humankind, I think that the kind of the transition ongoing, the energy is the biggest ones to tackle, and to tackle for example, the climate change. So that is definitely a one of the things. And I would say the excellent example is that, yes, in general, people don't yet understand and know that actually weather forecast can be made better. And there is not enough general awareness around that actually not only making the weather forecast better, but you can actually also model the impact of the weather. Another example from the energy space is like, for example, transmission of the electricity. And bit of also the distribution. but there are concepts called like dynamic line rating, and there again, wind has a major cooling factor for the power lines, and actually getting more intelligent solutions in place, which can actually then, in a way, forecast the capacity that you have on those transmission lines, will help us to inject more electricity to those power lines without building any new capacity, just by using smarter solutions.
That's an
so that's
interesting aspect.
one excellent example on the domain. And there's actually now also movements in that space. So there is a genuine interest from the players in the domain, as well as there is a regulation moving forward in the United States, as well as in general in Europe. So we will see really good development in the coming years in that domain as well.
So exciting times ahead. Super. So thank you, Jon, coming to the podcast today and bringing insight to the XWeather, what you guys are building and growing there, and the customer cases that you have. But anyways, so have a nice continuation for the day, and thank you for coming to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you for listening. To follow future episodes, subscribe to our newsletter at www.actionenergymarket.com and select Action Energy Market Global Service. We publish new episodes on Fridays. If you are a technology provider or developer in the energy or clean infrastructure area, add your solution to our solution bank.